and good evening from the UK. This is Open. No, it's not. It's Inception. Too many shows going at the moment. And this is The Eight Doors. I have a wonderful guest with me this evening. He's also, I've recorded him on the special that will be coming out in a few weeks. Tonight, I have Dr. Bob Davis, the professor, research scientist, author, lecturer, and a budding film producer. However, that's his human side of him. This evening, me and Bob are going to go down the rabbit hole. I'm more likely to get lost if I know him. Yes, big time. But we're going to have fun, and it's going to be a conversation. So, Bob, welcome to the show.
Oh, Gloria, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm a big fan of you and all you do.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, so here we go. And you know I love you to bits as well, so there you go.
I love you more.
And we're not going to do that tonight. Here we go. So, door number one. We're opening the door, and again, we're going to free fall right down the rabbit hole. And I'll ask you the question from your truth. What is this human experience that you're having? Now, I have many analogies, but it's not about me. But I can kick off and say, well, I change the terminologies, but I say I'm consciousness, or I am a divine spark of the source. However, I'm here and I'm having this human experience, and it is about, and then I would share. So, Bob, from your truth, what is this human experience that you're having?
Trying to become more humane. I think I'm trying to remove the ego. I think that's I don't know why it exists, but it does. We're all slaves to it, hostage to it in varying ways. I lived a life of ego, tenure, got to get the articles, the grants, succeed, all that. I knew there was more. I retired. I started writing books. I see a UFO, and I start evolving. I write a book, UFO Phenomenon. Then I have a shared death experience. I write a book, Life After Death. I learn more. I becoming more aware through my experience, and then my research, a left brain, right brain thing. So then I have a Kundalini experience, knocked my socks off. I wrote the book Unseen Forces, as you know, Integration of Science, Reality, and You, and I learn more. I read about different perspectives on life, and research and everything that relates to the human soul, the spirit, the body, the what may exist. Yeah. And boy, that alone, listening to you, and there's too few of you, expanding consciousness, just talking about it, communicating, bonding with like-minded souls reinforces. I find that, you see, my journey, the last 7 years has been expedited since I retired. Yeah. But it's a growth, and we all have. I like to think I'm becoming more humane longer to go. Yeah. But I think we all do as we become more aware. Yeah. Through experience, I think sometimes the hard way. Yeah. Whatever that peak experience is, going into space like William Shatner, or having a Kundalini and near death out of body, it comes in all different sizes and shapes and forms. So everybody's evolving. Some are stuck. Some really mess up. But,
can I take you back to the first part and expand on the first part? Sure. And you stated, I'm paraphrasing, but you stated, my human experience while I'm here is to get rid of the ego, which I think is an extremely truthful statement. However, we're going to expand. I would then say to you, well, for me, that would infer from my truth is not, I wouldn't say get rid of, but I would say I'm aware that the human ego is not who I am. So I would do the work on myself to find what I'm not, to then find what I truly am. Does that resonate with you? It's the same statement, but saying we need the ego to be the human to a degree. However, the more we work on the ego, I must get rid of that behavior. We can say that. I must stop losing my temper. I need to work on myself. I must stop judging. So does that resonate with you, as in not so much moving the ego, but being aware it's not who you truly are?
It resonates perfectly with me. I mean, I can't say it better. We're slaves to our brain.
Yeah.
The ego is brain-based.
Yeah.
The world revolves around you. Mm-hmm. It's more of a physical consciousness. I gotta eat. I gotta this pleasure,
very
money,
limited.
money. Yeah. Very limited. It may be good for 3D stuff. Yeah. I get more money, all that. But the spirit, the soul, it's stuck. Yeah. So you're not as happy, you're not as aware, and you're not growing, nor are you doing others than your loved ones a favor either. Mm-hmm. You're stuck in a 3D reality in a sense. So I always ascribe to the theory, and I'm not alone, is that the brain, the ego, inhibits our ability to perceive true reality. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, at a gut level. The brain, of course, evolved here on Earth, or it was manufactured, from somewhere. It depends who you talk to, materialist or non-materialist, Eastern or Western science. We all have our different viewpoints, right? Yeah. So we have different viewpoints on the brain and consciousness, but we have to decrease our temper. If you become more aware,
absolutely.
I think naturally you lose a little temper.
Yeah,
you can deal with life's ups and downs, challenges, and we all have traumas.
Okay,
all of them. Yeah,
I know how.
I can go off, as you know. So
I know you can go off. We did this on the last one, and I'll just.
And excuse my tooth, please. I hadn't have it pulled. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I'm not worried about your tooth. You know me. I will always stop you when you go off on one.
Please.
And then we can just finish that one up. Does it resonate with you that as we do the work on ourselves and we clear the energy of like anger, beliefs, concepts, and the beliefs are normally what's been given to us by another. In the human experience, it expands us from this very limited slave to the mind being. It makes space for the soul or consciousness to rise and expand. So it's a duality going on. It's like when you have a bottle of water, and if you've tipped some out, you've got an empty space to fill something else in it. Does that resonate with you on your human experiences to remove the ego to the best of your ability? Well, I mean, I don't use the word remove, but to realize it.
Inhibit it, suppress it, don't let it rule you.
Yeah, be aware
and be aware. The thing is this, be aware. Yeah. I think we're more than one consciousness, the body consciousness, ego, but a spiritual, a soul, whatever you want to call it, other type of consciousness that can control the body. The body does its own thing. It communicates within itself, fixes itself, modifies itself as necessary, and we can modify this too through transcendental meditation and other forms of relaxation techniques, yoga. Whatever it might be, if it's into it.
I'm going to stop you on that one because me and you would digress off. So on the back of what we just said, your truth is this human experience. You're aware you need the ego to do what you need to do, but now you've become aware your human experience at this point is to remove the ego and not identify with the ego. Not so much remove it, but not identify with it, because I really don't like the word remove, because you can't. It's going to be there. Okay, on the back of that, in door number 2, we're well down the rabbit hole now. I'm sitting on a really comfortable chair. You get your own. I've got my coffee. I've got my cigarettes. I'm chilling. Because on the back of that, you who just said you are here to have this human experience, Who are you? Who are you having this human experience? Who are you? You're not Bob. You're not the identification with the ego and all the things and the belief system. So who are you talking to me now, having the human experience.
I struggle trying to figure that out, Gloria. I really do. I struggle trying to figure that out.
Everyone does.
But I know that, but we know intuitively there's more. That's why we're driven either to a religious synagogue or a church or whatever, or some are driven to other things, meditation, self-improvement, whatever it might be.
Hold on, but who is
to try to improve ourselves, because we know that we can become more aware and awake because we get a little taste of it, I think, either through experience, we see something extraordinary, we have an extraordinary experience, but who are we? We know there's more. I think we're aware of that, and we're always searching for answers. That's an innate disposition as well.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, we're all searching.
Pump the brakes there. No, who is it that's searching? Who is it that's becoming more self-realized? Who is it that is having the human experience, Bob?
It's which could be part of the whole. We can all be interconnected.
Yeah.
But we are a separate entity too, with a free will, I guess. Trying to do right.
You've done it again. You've jumped out of my question. Pull it back. Who is it that's having the human experience? If it's not Bob and the identification with all the things it was, who is it? Who is the one searching? Who is the one inside searching for self-realization? I don't know. That's the best bloody answer ever. I've got labels, a book full of labels. The I don't know, that is a perfect answer. And even to this day, I personally come out with labels. I'm consciousness, I'm a dimensional being, I'm God, I'm this. But the fact is, to communicate, to have a conversation and to share, I need to use the labels and terminologies. That's how the 3D Homo sapiens sapien functions.
That's right.
Inside, who am I in my true essence? I know I'm part of the one source. I don't know what the source is, apart from the love. And that doesn't even...
Right, apart from the love, and that's the key, the love. And that's what I think we're all questing for. And people have NDEs and other people experience, they sense that love, out of body, the unconditional, looked into my newborn's eyes for the first time, magnified 10 million times, and that doesn't get at the love I felt kind of love. The expressions and ways people express are unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know. And that's why I wrote Life After Death, because am I not the brain, or am I the brain? Did I emerge from the brain, or did the brain emerge from me? What is me? Did I come out of the primordial soup? Was it God? Maybe UFOs are the angels. Maybe they're God. Maybe they have a hand in it. And maybe it's virtual reality. It's virtual reality. So I'm doing a documentary, trying to figure it out, sharing my feelings. I got experts coming in with different theories, and I'm trying to say, am I that? Am I that? Because they come up with virtual reality. They come up with torsion energy, quantum physics explanations. So I'm saying, am I a quantum process that interact with the universe? Or,
I see, Bob.
Is somebody manipulating me on a Commodore 64?
Hold on, pull it back. I say it's the same for me. I now say, my truth will say, well, actually, truth is, all of the above. It could be any of the above.
I agree.
But the whole point is, through self-realization, is to go through this process. But the process is really exciting to have these conversations. So,
that's right.
So we can say on the back of that, on door number 2, when I said, who are you? Who am I? We're happy to say, I am part of the love of this source, whatever it is. It doesn't.
I think that I resonate with that. Right, we are part of that love. That's a central thing. Yes. That's a central theme of it. Right. So there is some connection, obviously, that may be us without the body.
Yeah.
The ego, the body kind of inhibits our ability to perceive that. That's So I think I'm not the body.
Yeah.
And I am. That's a perfect way to explain it.
Okay.
I never looked at it that way. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, sweetie. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going through door number 3. Okay. We're really down the rabbit hole. And we're
Do I have a choice?
Huh?
Can I skip 3 and go to 4? Can I skip 3 and go to 4?
And this is Gloria you're talking to. There is no choice.
I know.
I trapped you in the Zoom room. You're in the Zoom room. You're trapped.
I know.
Okay. So the first door was, what is the human experience? And you gave good clarity on that. The second one, okay, you gave what the human experience was about, okay? The second one, who am I? Who are you? I am love. I'm part of the love of this source, yeah?
Yeah.
So the third door, okay, is, okay, on the back of that, why am I here? However, we did touch on it on door number 2, yeah? We did touch slightly, but why am I here? So I will come out with my truth and I will use labels and analogies. I am here. My truth is, and it's not right or wrong, it's just my reality. Why am I here? I am here to experience the 3D reality, the human experience, the polarities, the diversities, and through that comes come out and the self-realization occurs. So I basically, if I want to break it down without diminishing the passion of it, is I am here to experience 3D reality and polarities, because in my true source, the love of source, I have no shape or form. I am, we call it consciousness, you can call it energy, you can call it Christ consciousness, it's energy. And quantum physics 101 shows you if you vibrate energy to a certain vibration, it turns into a matter. Okay, we know that. So why am I here? I've stated why I'm here. Bob, can you expand any more on why you are here?
To figure out why I'm here.
I love it.
That's the only reason, I love it. I keep on going there.
Oh shit. That was a brilliant answer. And sometimes some answers are so simple, no one ever goes there. That
the law of identity. Yeah, right. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. But the fact is, why am I here? To figure out why I'm here. I love it. That's brilliant. I love
that's what I do. I think we all do that, in different ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some people don't, but I do. That's why I read books. But every time you have a peak experience, you see more truth, but you have more questions. You see a little truth, you have more questions.
I mean, most people ask, I know back in the day when I was younger, that question would come up not through spirituality, that would come up through the perception of suffering. Well, why am I here? Why am I here just to stop? That comes from victim mode, but that still is a doorway to push the being through, because as soon as you start to use discernment, well, why am I here? Then you realize there are other avenues, there are other ways to look at something, there are other perceptions. So I think why am I here is absolutely a doorway to self-realization. You don't have to have the, a guru kundalini.
Well, you're exactly right, Gloria. Look, you're exactly right. The issue of discernment comes into play. And, let's dig deeper, because language is a barrier to really trying to represent to others the essence of what we feel, the experience, the inner subjective self, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Language doesn't describe it. And you know that. You just discussed that, especially in your background in criminal justice. Defining these things are critical. We lack that ability, unfortunately. We don't understand, as you say, intonation. Why am I here? Like you said, with anger. Why am I here? Out of anger, or how else can you say it? Yeah. Why am I here? Mm-hmm. And other ways. You can tell it as a joke with humor. Right. How I'm saying it, I think it's understood. Maybe at times in life, I'd say, why the F Am I here? Why are we all suffering?
Yeah.
Why am I watching 9/11? My dad's in World War II. We could all go down the list of hell. Hell, it's in our genes. We see it. Media forms every day.
Yeah.
Why am I here to deal with the good? You put a positive spin on it. To experience 3D reality, you say, to experience a human experience, to have the human experience, and to enjoy it, make the most of it. That's a positive way, and I commend you. I wish everybody could look at it that way, but we can take obviously the opposite approach.
There's many paths. There's many paths to self-realization.
But you see, when you share that, look, that's it's so influential because people search for that. What you're just saying, and that's beautiful. And I resonate with it. Of course, look at life more positively. You may feel trapped in a body that you don't have answers to. What is life? Why am I here? Of course, but maybe that's cool. Maybe that's fun. This is fun because we're talking about it. I'm not. Well, we're going to stop talking. I'm going to have to, what's the word? Decompress. I'm going to be very high, very joyous, naturally.
I'm telling you.
And why is that? Why is that? Because we're talking about these issues and we reinforce each other. Yeah. Every time I do a podcast,
whether it's Inception or my show Open Minds, I am buzzing and I can't sleep.
Exactly. I'm buzzing tomorrow. And then when I hear the replays of you, I listen to your shows.
You'll be buzzing again.
Exactly. Because
okay.
Yeah, go.
Let's hold that one there. Right. So we're now coming up to door number 4. So we're so deep down the rabbit hole. We're camping out. I've got my camp lights on, and this one I would like to really expand on because there's multiple ways to express this. It is as complex as the first 3 doors. And door number 4, I've shut it, I've locked it. You can't escape, you can't jump, you're down and you're trapped with me. And you're coming back with your truth that resonates with you. What is this reality? You've touched upon it earlier on when you inferred some of your colleagues producing with you with the film and scientists, whatever. Now, what is this reality? It could be all of the above. However, the purpose of this conversation on Inception is for every individual soul or conscious being to start to communicate from inner instead of mind. So to answer these questions, my guests always have to go deep and deep. And they sometimes try to give a one-off answer, but I won't allow that. I'm in there and we'll expand. So get ready. Door number 4. What is this reality? So I have a few analogies. I like the one that there's a screen of consciousness. It's a film that's running. I'm watching a film. However, I'm also participating in the film. I'm one of the actors in the film. I'm also the script writer, the producer, the director, the lighting, and I am the observer, the audience at the same time. That's one of mine, okay? Another one is it's like a dream. I'm aware when I wake up from this, when consciousness is in the sleep state in the 3D reality. I'm in a dream, everything is realer than real, and everything's the same, and I'm responding, reacting, or even flying or whatever, or meeting ET. As soon as the consciousness shifts to the waking state, I go, it was just a dream. So I can either go that way with the screen of consciousness, or I can go to the film. So others have said it's a simulation, it's a holographic universe, it's this, it's this, it's this. It doesn't matter which label you use, but from your truth, how would you express what is this reality that we are experiencing? What is it? Is it a game?
I think it's this and this.
What's that?
But I think there's an influence from above that's manipulating us, somewhat like a puppeteer. I think that there's an interaction between a reality that we intuitively know is there and this reality. And so it's a duality in a sense, and even more complex, the body reality, the mind reality, this reality. We interact with it. And yeah, so like you're saying, you're a participant in the film, you're everything, the screenwriter, the producer, you're doing it all, bottom up, top down, you're interacting with it. And it's frustrating because you can get trapped in this reality. I think we need to understand that there really is more. And I'm coming to that belief that reality is so complex, and I'm always trying to figure it out. And I want to do this documentary, present a very serious show. I know, to show that there is another reality. And this thing we call consciousness can be explained at some level, given what we know about science. And I know this more, and I want to share it. That's why I wrote my books. I'm trying to figure out what is reality. And I see there's many different explanations, like you touch upon, and there's a burning desire. Don't you see, people who have, when people who pierce the veil, they do sense that other alternate reality. And they're very sane individuals, more sane than they come from all walks of life. Let's face that. They get a taste, and they're convinced, like you say, like the back of your hand. It's more real than real, as you said. They don't have to be convinced. They know so they understand there's more.
Yeah, but you've digressed again. You've gone off to others. I'm asking you. I mean, if I jumpstart this again, obviously you're aware of quantum physics, and I'm aware of quantum physics. My analogies, actually, quantum physics explains what this reality is in itself. The double split experiment, superposition, and how energy works and matter. So that's where I come from. So from your truth, even if you haven't got a word, what resonates with you? What are we in? Are we in a simulation? I understand what you're saying from above, but are we this? Like, we know my desk here is vibrating, the wood is vibrating at quantum physics at such a frequency, it's solidified. But then we have the observer effect. The desk is not there until I observe it's there, till I bring it into the program of my reality. In the woods, if there's a bear in the woods, is there really a bear in the woods? Until I see the bear in the woods. So this is why I said that this one you can't get out. You can't get out. So I'm going to come back at you again. What is this reality? Is there any way you can express?
Yeah. I think I resonate most with it's a very well be a holographic universe. Yeah. Because it makes sense. It does bring into the aspects of consciousness and the observer effect at the subatomic level. We see it at every level, cosmologically, human to human, ESP. We see these kinds of effects that quantum physics explains. Just like when somebody has a near-death experience, what do they perceive? No time, no space.
Yeah.
I can move at will. I can see 360 degrees. I can see through solid objects because quantum physics explains that.
Explains it. Yeah,
it's
absolutely
consistent with it. So I think, and it's consistent with the holographic universe, like with the brain. You can remove 95% of the brain in a mouse, and they're unaffected. They can still perform because there's redundancy. It's like breaking a large glass of a mirror. That is, break a mirror. You can little tiny piece. You can see it, the reflection. It represents the whole. So I think the brain is like that. A piece represents the whole.
Hold on, you're going on the brain. Let's come back.
But it's holographic. No, you see, I see evidence that it's holographic. Yeah. So I ascribe more to that reality. And the holographic theory of consciousness exists. It's widely accepted. I ascribe to Edgar Mitchell. Many others have developed that, and it makes sense. It does to me.
I mean, I like that analogy of the holographic universe. Sometimes I use another analogy when I'm trying to explain self-realization, and I do it and using that theory. So we've got a holographic being, I, and I fractalize out in trillion, billion, whatever the highest mathematical, whatever, and if for infinity off. And in this, in each shard of this holographic being is the whole, like you said. In each shard is the whole. And that's where, and that's part, these shards are the trees, there's the desk, they're the moon, the stars, the planets, the galaxy, they're Bob, they're going. And as the self-realization occurs through the human experience, the shards start to come back in. So I do use an analogy for the holographic universe to explain for the theory of self-realization. So I use that, and all them shards, I am the whole, the one, and I am this one as well. So I think you did good there. I like that. Holographic universe makes sense. I mean, come on, and there's many experiences of dimensional beings like myself, and I always, well, how the hell did I float through a wall? Quantum physics explains how one, as you perceive it to be matter, it's solid, but when you're not the observer, it's not solid, but the energy doesn't die. And it's, I'm not going to go down that road. But
right. Collapse of the wave function. And it can be explained mathematically. Exactly.
So my wave goes through the wall, but I am still the observer observing the human experience. So that just makes quantum physics make sense to me. That's all that is. And then also science today, quantum physics, even on the human, when they break it down and go to the smallest particle atom, it's just space. It's vibration of energy that comes together with an observer, a programmed observer effect due to having the human experience, and organizes and grows, and the blood flows. I mean, everything just works. As you said earlier on, the body looks after itself, the mind fucks it up. I mean, when you walk, you don't go right leg move, left leg move, right leg move. It just goes, but no one ever thinks about that. Your heart's pumping blood around. Do you tell it beat?
Body consciousness. That's exactly right.
It's just consciousness. It's looking after itself. So I thought that was brilliant. Yeah, brilliant answer there. Right. We're going to go to door number 5 now. We've got all around the tunnels. We're deep, deep, deep. Right, we'll go Middle Earth. How about that? We're in Middle Earth. And let's sit by a lovely, beautiful lake. It's green and blue and pink, and it's just beautiful there. We've got stalagmites and stalactites, and we're trapped here until you answer this one. Okay? This is door number 5, sorry. Who then, on the back of all that we've shared, is ET? Now, ET is an umbrella word, label. ET can mean greys, extraterrestrials, angels, and all of the above, okay? Other than Homo sapiens sapien. So from your truth, who are these ETs or dimensional beings? Who are they in relation to us?
The more I think about it, and my answer changes almost monthly, let alone yearly. I mean, I'm coming around to the theory that it may very well, all these different beings that we do see, and they come in all different sizes, shapes, and forms, don't they? May very well be projections of one's consciousness from somewhere else. Projections of somehow these beings are capable through some technique, maybe quantum physics has the answers, or some science way beyond quantum physics. Another 1,000 years, 100,000, who knows? So these are, or from our future, quantum physics. Past, present, future exists simultaneously. So what are we saying? Maybe other beings from the past, who knows? But it's non-body, non-physical. And here our consciousness is expanding somehow to interact with these multidimensional, call it that, beings. And we see it even through psychoactive drugs, as you know, DMT. There's several studies that have demonstrated that, that interaction with many different types of beings.
Yeah.
And what's that all about? The point is, people believe it like the back of their hand, and it's real. So, are they seeing a different world, or are they seeing this world differently? Is one question I try to look at objectively.
Yeah.
They are seeing a different world. You know why? Because they firmly believe they are, and it incorporated in their lives, in their heart, in their soul. They know. How can that not be real?
No, I hold on. I'm going to come back here. I like that. I mean, that was interesting, and I'm going to add on top of that, because for me, I'm obviously coming from quantum physics and coming from non-duality, which is self-realization. All things at all times in all places now, and because I have experience and I've come through the journey, the awareness now. I never went off to a planet. I never really went off, to a craft. I never, or wherever I was doing what I was doing. It was, for me, the only way I can explain it now, I have this truth, and truth changes the more you become aware, is timelines merging together in one, or overlapping, or like the quantum bubbles, and we're just bouncing up to another timeline or universe. And the more I've I had to use discernment because it was doing my head in, and I tried to deconstruct it. Like when, they're in the room and I'm in the room, that's two timelines coming together, one image overlapping another image now. It could be the future, it could be the past. I don't go into that on this one, but you said another, they go in, they come out. And the reason I say what I've said is because they come into our 3D reality from their timeline. Sometimes they are physical. Sometimes the Homo sapiens sapien will be consciously awake and will consciously see them, and they've taken shape and form. So we have the observer effect. So that tells me then they're part of this 3D reality, even though it's two timelines blending. Because if they weren't part of the 3D reality, which is the observer turns energy to matter, you wouldn't be able to physically see them. You wouldn't be able to look up and film a craft in the sky. It has to be part of this whole human experience.
Yeah, well, and they're capable of doing that. We're
Absolutely.
not.
And
We're not. That's exactly right. Or we could have even time slips. Again, quantum physics allows for that.
Time slips. Yeah.
Sure. And even it's there's a cosmological even perspective on top of what you're saying that supports your perspective. Many leading cosmologists, astrophysicists, ascribe to the fact that reality is like an endless stream of bubbles. You used that term earlier, but they look like each universe, which is different time and space from other universes. It is like its own little bubble, and they mathematically figure out that a universe as a bubble, guess how many bubbles there are for individual universes? There's something like 10 to the 22nd bubbles.
Yeah.
So what are they saying? Talk about the branching tree of a multidimensional theory. It's endless. It's mind-boggling. It truly is. And they support it mathematically, theoretically, and it could be true.
I mean, for me, always the everything is math to me. It's always math, and obviously from studying quantum physics, and when my art was sacred geometry, and the Platonic solids, it was all mathematical equations, and then through quantum physics and the rest, I found out everything is made up on the smallest level of the Platonic solids, And the more that I went in, I said, oh, it's math. Everything is math. So it made sense. It made sense to me. We have slightly digressed there. But so ET, we've described ET. and we both sort of resonate that with the part of the 3D or time slips or time lapse. It doesn't matter how we label.
Right.
We're having
it's non 3D, very non 3D. We know that.
And then we go out when we do connect with them in their timeline. We actually experience non 3D. Correct.
You assume the proper dimension once you interact. Either they come to ours or we go to theirs. They can take us apparently there, and we can also.
So, we experience, their reality. I mean, because I know I experienced it. So we've done that. That was a fantastic discussion on Who is ET. Now,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
We're on door number 6 now. Okay. So on the back of what we've just said, okay, we've touched upon it slightly in little phrases. It's just been thrown in. Door number 6, I'm now eating cake and knocking back the coffee, okay, and waiting for your answer. So I'm just going to eat out while you answer this question.
Okay.
How then, on the back of everything we said, we've got 5 doors before us. How are we connected to them? Now, there was some inference earlier on when you said there could be us, it could be this. Now, what I will preempt it with, for my truth, is I come from like non-duality, which means the love of source, use your terminology because I have no issue with it, is having a human experience. So I've got mask on, I'm Gloria, being, whatever, Trevor, but I'm the observer behind my mask. I'm aware I've got to have a human experience. So I will add to that is, like we have human experiences with each other. We get married, we have children, and then there's a DNA connection that goes on. I'm fully aware when, my family ancestry was done, I have a bloodline, which is really weird. And it's gone to and so I'm aware of that on the Homo sapien. So it's a juxtaposition. So I'm aware of that on that side, but then I'm aware of being this love of the source and their love of the source. I'm connected there. So you can take this whatever way you want in the juxtaposition. You can answer from a Homo sapien. We are them, they are us. That's how or you can go and answer from consciousness. It's an easy one. How are we?
We're an individual being connected to a whole because we're connected because we interact. Like you and I are connected. We're interacting.
Yeah.
We have a bond, but we also have a resonant bond, whatever you call energetic bond, invisible, with external beings, whatever you want to call them. And quantum physics sort of touches upon that, does it not? The law of entanglement.
Yeah.
You can separate an electron, a photon, light years apart, manipulate one, the other responds appropriately. That invisible bond, we don't see it, but they react. Torsion energy. Take torsion energy.
Yes.
99% of the universe is torsion energy or spin force. Everything spins, electrons around an atom and planets around the sun and galaxies around circular. Well, the brain may very well integrate with that kind of energy. The brain looks like a torus, especially with the stem coming down.
Yes.
And that's why there could be very well be, I believe, chakra systems, energetic bands, and the brain kind of integrates what? That torsion energy from above or light energy as well into the body, allowing for the quantum process in the brain, which has been identified by leading researchers with quantum processes from above. That interaction of consciousness, we're connected.
It's entanglement.
It's a carrier wave, torsion energy. It like, hey, let's, in other consciousness, for instance, they may have very well perfected how to get here from, regardless of distance or time, they know how to get here. Either through torsion. Let's take the torsion energy highway or the black hole or the utilizing a law, whatever it is. We don't understand that. We don't know the science. Why can't they? Look, even people now are talking about uploading consciousness into a computer.
Yeah.
Once we can derive, for instance, all the algorithmic capabilities of the brain, quite a task, which is obviously far more complex than any quantum computer. But if it could be done, there is theories out there. Mikhail Kaku, leading physicist, widely known out of Columbia University, he even talks about these possibilities. Upload the consciousness. So in other words, you'd be immortal. If you could take all the information from your brain, and maybe consciousness is all that information.
It's a data sharing app, isn't it? It's like a data sharing app. It's a network.
People are talking about that. Yeah. And that ties in with virtual reality. You know, there's an interconnection with many of these theories that we're talking about: torsion energy, virtual reality, quantum physics, near-death experiences, the subjective experience, the alterations of consciousness and time and space that people experience, interaction with being. I'm trying to integrate this all, and I try to in my book, Unseen Forces, trying to also in the documentary, the consciousness connection. You know, and that's the point.
I think that was a beautiful answer. I loved that. I enjoyed that. That was a good one. You're doing good. You're doing good, Bob. You're really doing good. I knew this.
You're doing extremely well. I'm impressed. You're really challenging me. I need to.
It's my job to challenge. It's my.
You're good.
It's my job.
I feel like I should pay you for your psychotherapy. This is beautiful. This is very good. It's a self-realization, don't you see?
Yeah, but
I'm not going to come down from this for maybe a week. I tell you, it's very good.
It's okay. You don't have to pay me for it. I challenge all my guests. Okay, I learn too. I'm reflecting back.
I want the audience to try to hopefully resonate.
Well, I'm hoping that's why I created the podcast. I say it again and again. I created this podcast, the first in the media platform to do this, to have this type of conversation with anybody.
You get to the essence. Of it. I get it.
Yeah, instead of
you do it. You're challenging. I know.
Because what I found, even as I went through the road of spirituality, it was just another group's belief and another group's belief and an offspring of that belief. And I said, we all have the truth inside. So why don't we all just share our truth and use discernment and dive deep? Let's challenge ourselves. Let's find out, we say we want to deconstruct the ego to know what we're not. Well, to do it, we need conversations like this. This is what we need. Anyway, on that one.
That's right.
Right, we're now at door number 7. We've got 2 doors left, okay? Now, this one can seem a bit off screw after where we've just come from. However, we're in door number 7, okay? I think I've turned to the alcohol now because it's really getting rabbit holey at the moment. We're in the quantum world, which is wonderful because I so love quantum physics. On the back of everything we said in door number 7, why are they here in our 3D reality? Now, again, I will not make it too hard. I always give a little bit for me to open the conversation up. My truth has changed so many frigging times. It's unbelievable. The more that I become aware. For me, they are consciousness having, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, a grey experience, being a grey, or, being a Palladian or being a reptilian. And they're having that experience, and they're on their experience of that sentient or conscious being. And at the same time, we are part of their experience. They're growing and learning as we are part of theirs. So that's where I'm at now, trying to define and give a theory that is just unexplainable, and I can't find the bloody words. So no pressure for you. Why are they here, do you think?
It aligns with what you're saying. I think there's a certain degree of a symbiotic relationship where each party benefits. They're here they have to be here for a reason, because they're here. because they're here. And it has to be positive. Otherwise, they'd be destroying our planet or something like that. We'd know that, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that they're all benevolent, not all may be benevolent. But point is, why they have to be benefiting. But look, I wrote a paper when I was a member of the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation. We surveyed about 3,500 individuals who say they interacted with beings who comprise the grays or reptilians, energy beings, this deity, supreme beings, etc. And they come away with these experiences, which they firmly believe to be as real as can be.
Yeah. More
humane. They don't want it to end. They want it to continue. They develop psychospiritually. And the question is, why do they say they're more empathetic and sympathetic as humans? Why do they say they're more sensitive about the nature, the condition of our planet, less materialistic, more spiritual, less interested in organized religion?
Yeah.
Finding more like-minded souls, becoming more aware. And when you do that, I think, again, naturally, it's like a physiological consciousness in the sense that you could elicit a reflex by hitting your knee in the right spot. You're going to get a predictable outcome.
Yeah.
That's a body consciousness in a sense, but there's a higher level of consciousness that we show, and we become more aware. That's like a reflex of the spirit. And eventually we elevate, and either through our being, our intention, or theirs, or it's a mutual, I don't know, the different ways that can be that or facilitate us, that carry us like a carrier wave, a near-death experience, unidentified air phenomena, a psychoactive drug. It comes. Yeah. There are many different types of facilitators, but the outcome is very similar. That's what we see in our studies. Why do they all become more humane?
I mean,
dissolving the ego.
Yeah,
reducing the ego.
Yeah, definitely. There is. I mean, I can only speak of my own personal truth, and it's always hindsight. It was always hindsight. Now I'm aware at the actual contact, but I looked back, and every time there was contact, I never understood it at the time, but if I go back in and pull in the memories, I become more aware of something. I use the word more consciously aware. My reality started to change. I'd attract people on, or people would leave, and things were changing, my aspect. And I can look back and say, each time I had contact, I may not have understood what the hell it was about. What was I doing on a craft? And, however, after each incident or after each experience, when I'm taken to places, and it was like, astrology or astrophysics, and I was being shown, cosmology and the planets. Not that I was like, it's beautiful, but why? But it was afterwards. Afterwards, there was a change. And I have always felt they were here not only to observe me, because from what I'm aware of, they're in awe of us, that we are doing this human experience, and they're watching, and they can't interfere. There's a free will aspect of it, but they're watching and trying to assist, because they're going, wow, you're really sort of like, you're brave. You did it. You're doing it. So I see it that way with them, that connection. Well,
what's the difference, if I may interject, if you don't mind, dear, what's the difference between that and you playing a simulation game on a computer where you're manipulating people?
No difference.
Think about it. But I just put one and one together. I wouldn't use
the word manipulation. It's like with my children. I try not to tell them how to react or respond.
Right, there's still free will. Right,
free will,
it's not like where the individuals on the screen. And correct.
Also, with these beings,
but there's a control mechanism. Don't you see? At some level,
I think our perception decides if there's a control mechanism. And I think that's why many perceive things in a negative connotation, because we as Homo sapiens sapiens, when we're playing the role mask on, we like to control everything. It's left brain. We need to control. We need an outcome. We need to know, why are you doing that? You know? And I've used an analogy that I hope doesn't cause offense, but the analogy is like on what we call abduction. I hate that freaking word. I've been
interaction. Interaction.
I've been on a table and blah de blah, whatever, Trevor, and they say, oh, you know, this is, people give it labels, this is that. I say, have you ever had a baby? A woman ever had a baby? My God, when you're in, you know, it's the most torturous thing in the world. You're being tortured by the doctors and nurses. Back in the day, they'd slap you, but they don't do that no more. And just leave you to die in agony. But it's a procedure. It's part of a procedure that is beneficial for the collective of humanity, for the procreation of another being. It's part of it. So there are, if you go into, take that one side, if you go into all of our scientific labs, which, you know, I have more empathy for animals than I do humans. I know it's terrible. And all the past experiments they did on animals is 20 billion times, and they're still doing it. Yeah. 20 billion, and human being doing it to another, maybe, I don't know, Aborigine tribe or something. We do it.
The government has done it. CIA has done it against our own people.
Yeah, we all know.
It happens. You're sure.
It
we
happens.
make terrible mistakes.
I think you really, if it's how you, I think you've really got to open your mind and say, okay, I don't really like that. I don't like this expense, which you don't. However, before I lock it down and judge it from one perception, was there any benefit? And I'll always say many of us have been cured of some serious illnesses through the procedure, and that cannot be explained. I'm not validating it. I'm just saying it's so.
I've heard that too. Medical healing is remarkable. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. What's the difference going to a hospital and getting all the procedures done by a human? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. More painful, longer, and then you're blasted with the awful chemo, which kills you anyway, eventually in the end. So it's energy. So this is what I'm saying. So there's different ways. I think if you change, it's a Wayne Dyer 101. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Open your mind. It could be that. It could be this.
Well, that's the way you manipulate reality. Sometimes it's just so easy. If you look at it that way, in a sense, you are dictating free will, manipulating reality to the way you want.
You have a choice if you choose.
But you need to be more aware of those choices and how you can do that and override the ego, which is what you're saying. And I agree completely with you. But what's the first thing in the equation? The flour or the oil or the sugar? No, it's becoming more aware. Yeah. And to become more aware, you have to get rid of the ego. Yeah. How to get rid of the ego? The ways we're talking about through these kind of peak experiences, which are hard to achieve. Yeah. But that's why a lot of people are actually going to psychoactive drugs. They do have these kinds of experiences. I'm reluctant. Yeah. And I don't advocate it because I don't know enough about it. But look, you know the benefits for PTSD and severe depression. It's remarkable. Yeah. But many people, surprisingly to me, aren't doing it in microdoses. Not that you get high, but from what they're telling me, you do gain an inner sense of awareness. And you can be painful emotions that you do experience of the past, but all for the good. Cleanse yourself out, as they like to say. Yeah.
However, what I add to that, I mean, I don't condone any of that, but I know it's been.
I don't either.
Trials microdoses. Obviously, you know, Mother Earth produced things that help. However, anything that can, in different ways, many paths to the source. So each one will experience their way to self-realization. Every sentient Homo sapiens sapien eventually will get there. There's no one's left behind. However, I want to come back to these beings before we go to door number 8. These beings, I presume I've never experienced what you call a negative, but I'm presuming on the law of probability, we've got good, bad, ugly humans. There's got to be good, bad, ugly them. There has to be. Yeah, it's got to be, you know, so that's fair play if it's part of the 3D reality. However, one thing that I am fully aware of is they don't have an ego, but many of them at some point in their evolution did. They don't. And they look at us and they're like, wow. They know it's a game. They know we're playing the role, but they're still learning themselves. They're coming from a different perspective, yeah? They know we are consciousness or love of source. And we've come into this holographic whatever to have this experience and just to slightly, not totally forget who we are, because the mask comes off now and again. And they're now observing us going through it.
Well, let me ask you this. Are they're interacting with us. We are as shocked during that experience is what you're saying as they are. Yeah. They're going, wow, look at him. He's an earthling, whatever. Look at that body. Look at what they're doing, driving a car. Oh, that whatever. Why does that happen? They get something out of it, maybe purposeful or not. Is it a willful intent on their part, in other words, to come into this? And if so, why?
It's part of the program. It's the entanglement of the individual's spark. They're an individual spark. It's not just Homo sapiens sapiens. There are other, what we call civilizations, other worlds, and they're on a similar, possibly or slightly off similar journey as us. It's entanglement. So it's like back in the day in our recorded history, when you first saw, I don't know, I remember as a child on the TV, I first saw they called them a pygmy. I was like, I'd never seen
a what? A
pygmy.
What?
It's what we call a dwarf or something.
Yeah, okay.
But I had never, and because I was brought up in a racist white family, at that point back in the day, there was it was just all white sort of supremacy sort of thing. And I remember I saw it and I was so scared. Yeah. And the belief systems at the time said they're devils. Yeah. So I'm a small child. There you go. Straight in. And it was obviously later on in life, I realized they're just the same as me, just in a different suit. However, I'm trying to say with the experience with these beings, no one's compelling or controlling another. The only one in control of your reality is you, your perception of it. If you go down the pub later or you go down to a restaurant and there's an arsehole in there, he's really trying to pick a fight. You can either respond or react. You're in control of your reality. If you don't wish to experience an altercation.
Well, yeah, you are indeed. However, there are some negative entities because I've heard too many negative stories about such interactions that are horrific, and that they are in control. They're collecting sperm or ova. These people believe it to be real. And John Mack talked about it in his research, the Harvard psychiatrist. Some of it, we are victims. They violate our free will from what people are saying. So what do you make of that? What do I make of that?
No. There are many that say, no, they did not violate this free will. There are many saying it's part of the entanglement. It was agreed before that.
But they're not aware of it. It could very well have been, but I'm not aware of it.
But many experiences are aware of it.
I see. Okay.
There are many, and I suppose
because of the timelines is what you're saying. Am I right? The overlapping of timelines.
No, it's a case of the more in self-realization occurs, you become more aware as you know yourself. Everyone does who's self-realizing. There's no higher or lower, but wherever your journey is, the more self-realization comes, the more you become aware of why an experience occurred. So I'm aware, due to a lifetime of this sort of interaction, that it was part of the human experience. No different than anything else, no different than the fertility clinic in the hospitals in the human form. So I don't want to digress too much on it. I just want to bring in the fact there's going to be polarity in experiences because we're in a polarity.
Yin yang. Plus positive, negative,
there you go.
Dream,
and
not
how
dream.
You perceive it.
Sometimes reality is as simple as that.
It's how you perceive it.
Yeah.
It's how you perceive your
Yin
reality.
yang.
Yeah. So we went really deep on that, and that was really fascinating. But we've actually touched on door number 8. Okay. We've already and it normally happens by the end of the conversation, it all merges into one, because we've gone deeper and deeper, and it, as it should be, one organic conversation. But I am going to expand a bit more on this in the question. The last door, Bob, is why are they interested in us now? So we just touched upon, from my truth, there is, for me, it's an entanglement. It's part of a bigger plan. I don't know what the bigger plan is. I have a sense of urgency. It's imminent. That's all I got, and nothing else. That's just my truth. It's not right, it's wrong. It's my truth, my reality.
You mean with the world events? The world events?
Yes, yeah, that's where I'm at. I have no idea, but it's like there's an urgency to wake the fuck up, to do the work. That's why they're here. I mean, I have been bombarded by different ones recently, and they're different. They're totally different beings. I've even heard the name Elohim. Their frequency is of this love that I can't tell you.
It's just good?
They're really good, obviously. Really,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're not alone. I've been hearing a lot from other people about this increase in types of interactions, experiences. Maybe on the heels of trauma like COVID, maybe there's some self-realization occurring, more internalizing, more discussions. People are home more meditation, more yoga, more psychoactive, whatever it might be for the individual. People are becoming more aware. And I think just by being alone with your own thoughts, maybe that also is, instead of working 9 to 5 and traveling 2 hours to work, you're not you. You're not you. At home, unfortunately, if there's any good from COVID, maybe it's that, as well as this, another hard way to learn, but maybe there's a reason, the increase in deaths. And I think you and I, Gloria, touched upon this, from this horrific event, worldwide catastrophe of COVID. 5-6 million have died. Many more, unfortunately, will. The suffering that's gone on for everyone. Everyone's been touched in so varying ways. But more people are having near-death experiences as a result. Come on. And 200,000 people in the United States alone each year have a near-death experience. It's probably higher than that. And during this last 2 years or so, it has to be higher. Thus, near-death experience, another way to trigger this awareness through that actual realization of an alternate reality, as they say, and it's a positive thing over time, making people more aware and allowing us to become more psychic, because when people do report these kind of experiences, they have more psychic, more synchronicity, more and more interactions.
That's unbelievable. It's off the scale. The more that, the contact goes on, individual beings, Homo sapiens, should I say, so you can identify, are saying, God, I'm just getting switched on, switch. I mean, in my case, the most prominent thing is like a shift in timelines. Like, I've been consciously aware as my timeline shifted. I can't even explain it. And
you can't. You don't have the words. We don't have.
But I'm not.
No way to.
I know I'm. Yeah. You know when sometimes in the past you go, well, how did I get on this path, or how did I do that, and how did I get here? What new job or whatever, and you just don't see it because it's just life unfolding as life.
Right.
Still identified. Right. But
in our 3D reality, the time is linear.
Yes.
Linear. We learn it conceptually, 3D world, but in 4D, it interacts more with space. Yeah. And we have more control of time. Time is very different.
Well, I don't know about control. I'm aware.
Right, but that's a multi-dimensional state, you see. Yeah. You kind of what's the word? You're not bound by time in a 3D sense all the time. You seem to be rising above it multidimensionally, again, as a possible symptom, natural, of being more aware. And a lot of people try to describe it, and it's so hard to, because Hey, we never learned about these concepts. It's an inner perceptual experience.
But what I am aware of is these beings can do that just like that as well.
Yeah.
So I was aware at the beginning, like that I was like one step in, and I saw it was like a split. I was coming out. I can't explain it, but now I've had that the psychic connection. Being a psychic medium, it's different. It's nothing like I would have ever thought it would be. Everything has changed.
In positive way, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Right? What is that? Closer to love, closer to the source in a way, or just?
I would say that, because also, it's like when the closer you get to this, as this timeline shifted, then it's a knowing, and I know there is no learning, you just know. And
I understand that. And that's what people say. It's a common expression. The sense of knowing, like an animal, we know that there are animals who can know where the predator is, even though they don't sense it with their body.
Yeah.
That sense of knowing is not cultivated in us, right?
The sixth sense is so
correct. Well, and we're just learning about that through ESP, for instance, is real. You're right. We're just learning about it. And
I think it's a combination through in quantum physics, entanglement theory, and quantum bubbles. I love the quantum bubble theory and, the superposition theory, because, how that explains how they come out. But what's happening, experiences have been doing the superposition theory since all experiences going in, going out.
Well, the superposition, it gets so complicated with the superposition. It's like, here's an example of a superposition. It's like me throwing one ball at two people simultaneously. Yeah. It doesn't make sense because our 3D concept doesn't fit that. Why? One ball, two people. As I said, 1, 2. But you get those kind of variations of altered time. And people don't know how to explain that. Yeah. Of course, that alteration of consciousness.
What we're doing.
Yeah, these kinds of things are allowed for alteration of space and time. That things that obviously we can't explain and thus don't accept, nor have the words to describe it. And we're frustrated too by that, because we know it's real, and we don't know if that's normal. And what does it mean? And we have many questions with that, of course. And we have to provide support, and you do. You see, we need, like I keep saying, that's my mantra. We need more Gloria Cannings doing podcasts. Like, why are you doing the podcast, helping to wake everybody up? Don't you see? What's your mission? Because of these experiences, I bet you wouldn't be doing this.
No, so that was
an evolution.
I was in a life of crime. I was not the criminal. I was working on the good side. I was in a life, of crime.
Well, thank you for all your contributions to society.
No, thank me. It was part of my experience.
Before you did good. You did good, and you should be proud of it.
Yeah, the tools I got through that are all transferable and now coming into play now. So they were skill sets I needed, and the major one was deconstructing. Breaking down a theory, even breaking down my own belief systems,
searching for the truth,
my concepts, breaking down what I thought was why.
You did it with your left brain, the criminal justice detective mindset, breaking down, deconstructing. But then you started having experiences. A little bit more of your right brain came into it. Me too. A left brain, right brain thing. I think it's more symmetrical.
Yeah,
Yeah. You want to strike that balance. We have to be somewhat material. We have to survive. But there's a balance in the 3D world. The world doesn't revolve around me. Now, I revolve around the world. At least I'd like to think I revolve around the world.
We got to stop in a minute. We talk over each other. We do it all the time, so don't worry.
I know. That's cool.
I'm going to end it saying, at the moment, the two hemispheres of the brain, which is consciousness, at a certain frequency, left brain consciousness, right brain, which normally don't even bloody communicate, are now as one communicating. So you can be the Homo sapiens sapien when you start deconstructing what we call the ego part of consciousness. That part then submits and merges with the one. you actually don't get rid of your ego. It just gives.
Right. I agree.
You lose your identity. You realize that's not who I was. I had a lovely ride. Thank you very much. I played an amazing role in this play, and I can't fucking wait to go home. But apart from that, thank you so much, Bob, for really riveting.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, I'd like to just mention that my website is bobdavidspeaks.com, and the film website is consciousnessfilm.info. Dave Beatty of Dreamtime Entertainment and I, again, are doing that documentary, The Conscious Connection. We have all the experts, and I appreciate your support. We have experiences, people with stories like this, and trying to integrate science with experiences to understand consciousness better, what reality is all about. So consciousnessfilm.info, go there, and whatever you can do to support our mission to shift the paradigm a little bit, would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Bob.
Pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Inception Podcast. I do hope you've enjoyed the conversation. It does get a bit lively with me and Bob, and I always have to shut him up. And we all talk over each other, but that's an organic conversation. That's two friends talking. It's not an interview. That's the whole point of it. And that's the richness of it. I hope you can take something from the conversation. If you can, please do. If it doesn't resonate with you, just please put it to one side. You never know. Just my truth, Bob's truth, your truth. It's all the same. There's no right or wrong. We're all trying to find our way. Let's say home. Phone home, E.T. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you again. And you can find Inception podcasts and Inception specials either on my Facebook page, or I am on the Forbidden Knowledge News Network, which is absolutely amazing, with amazing creators of amazing, oh my God, different types of consciousness. We've got political, there's everything on there. I'm
a big fan of them. Yes, I agree. Everybody should go to and take a look at it. You offer a lot.
Everybody.
It's very true.
Yeah, for the Forbidden Knowledge Network. And on that note, I'd like to say till next time, guys, I'll see you again. Thank you, Bob. Bye.
Pleasure. Thank you.